Okay. We're good. Okay, we're super excited that Rayne Anderson, Rayne has been a friend of Ariele and mine since before Plexus. We all three met at McKinney Christian Academy, and our kids were in kindergarten together. And so they are some of the first people that I met. I think the same with Ariele. Rayne's daughter was there in pre-K. So, but anyways, and so we've been friends for a long time. And so we're super excited to hear how Plexus, what you have to say about Plexus today, Rayne. So thank you for being on.
Awesome. Well, okay, so literally, I'm so excited. I absolutely adore this part of what we do, you know, just being able to pour into, share our stories, because at the end of the day, I really do believe that we just become experts at sharing. And so this is my second time with this team, and I appreciate being invited back. You know, before I get started in my story, I just want to take a minute to edify both Ariele and Beth. I mean, the leadership that you have within your organization is, I mean, if I say all things amazing, then I'm still underestimating, you know, and under exaggerating who they are to you. And so, you know, I absolutely look up to both of them. They are mentors in this business for me. And so today, as I spend time with you, number one, I'm going to share my story with you. Number two, I'm going to share some business tips with you. Here's the deal. I would guarantee you've heard all of this, but what I hope you leave with today is either an opportunity for your spark to be reignited, or that if your light's already shining, that it would shine a little brighter for Plexus, and that we can all just walk away maybe a little bit more motivated, or walk away with maybe a hair more wisdom, or that you've heard something that you've already heard, but you heard it in a different way, and you'll go apply it to your business today. So like Beth said, my name is Rayne Anderson, and it truly never gets old to say I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. It just doesn't. And because let me tell you why, and maybe not for the reasons you think, because to me what it means to be diamond is that it represents tenacity, it represents determination, it represents success. But that's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection of my team, and that simply at this point, thousands of people had decided to be like-minded, lock arms, and create a better world, truly be on a mission for health and happiness. And so for me, that's what that title represents, is thousands of lives being changed and thousands of more lives having the opportunity to be changed. And so let me halt what I'm saying right there and rewind the clock for you and explain how this ever even got started. So to do that, I've got to rewind about 4.5 years ago. So I'm going to take you back to about October, November of 2012. And what is Plexus, right? Well, simply what it was for me at the time was I saw these moms at my daughter's school looking better, feeling better. And okay, so here's my research. I just wanted in on it. Nobody died. And I just simply asked Ariele. She was the first person I asked. I said, okay, so what's going on? Because, you know, there's a group of my friends that are looking better. What are y'all doing? It's like, shoot straight, because this is the friend I am. I'm like, I know y'all aren't working out regularly because you're not at boot camp with me. So what's going on? And so she told me, she said, hey, look, we're buying this product from Celeste's friend in Colorado. I'm like, okay, give me the hookup, give me her information. So again, I do zero research because y'all, Jen Hawkins is the friend, okay? So for some of you, that name will mean something. That's Celeste's sponsor. And I literally was like, give me her name, number one. Number two, I did not know that Plexus was a network marketing business. Now, I can only see a few of you on video because most of you have your picture on, but I know those of you I can't see, you're going to laugh at this, because I literally thought that Jen's grandpa, why her grandpa, I don't know, but that her grandfather made Plexus in his basement. I literally thought that this was a family business. So, and here's the embarrassing part of that statement. For 6 months, I thought it was a family business. So I didn't ask. I know no other product but Slim and Accelerator, because that's what was working for me. Didn't ask if there was more products, didn't ask. And the funny part is, and it's been something we can now look back and laugh on, Jen didn't tell me either. So my story could have started earlier, but I say God's timing is perfect for a reason. And how many of you would just agree with me that life happens, right? Life happens. And it happened to me in a major way. And, you know, I used to cry when I told this part of my story, but there's been so much beauty that's come from it that I'll simply just share with you that my circumstances changed. I found myself in a position suddenly to raise my daughter on my own. Okay, that was not in the plan for my life. And I don't think it is for anyone that finds themselves in a position to be a single mama. But let me paint this picture for you so you understand why it was so scary. I mean, obviously that statement in itself would be scary, but let me paint this picture. At the time, I was 40 years old. So y'all can do the math. I'm now 44 years old. But at the time I was 40 years old, I'd been a stay-at-home mom for almost 10 years at that point, or a stay-at-home wife for almost 10 years at that point. Hadn't worked, not in the conventional sense where I brought in, you know, a salary for my household. So we've got that. Then in addition, I'm not college educated. And it was now up to me to do all those things, provide for my daughter. You know, we're talking like the essentials, like roof overhead, food on table. But y'all heard that I met Beth and Ariele at McKinney Christian Academy. So on top of it all, I now have what I feel like is the pressure to keep her there because her world is changing so greatly. I want to keep her environment as normal as possible. So to say that I was scared, so here's another understatement. I can't put the word, I cannot put the adjective around it, but I will just say being secure and deep in my relationship with the Lord, I knew that I had to lean on Him. And throughout this whole journey, there's just been a peace and an understanding that as a Christian woman, I can tell you only came from God. And so I just listened to Him throughout this whole journey. It doesn't mean that there weren't times of my secular self getting in the way, right? That, you know, I still was scared, right? I admitted that piece of it to you. So I did what I knew to do, and that's number one, pray, and number two, get to interviewing, because I've got to go find a job. So I do just exactly that. And I'll say I was incredibly fortunate that I was offered a job pretty immediately. Now, it's important to also share with you that this job was an answer to my problem. It was not an answer to my prayer. And so I'd like to share the specifics of the job because I want you to understand how bold this journey has been for me. The job was a recruiting position, and I've never really shared the name of the company, but it was for the Dallas Morning News here in the DFW area. It was our main newspaper. And I simply was going back to my roots. And that's what I had done in the past was I was a corporate recruiter. So corporate recruiters are paid really, really well. And that job was a 6-figure-a-year salary. So y'all can see where that was going to be an answer to my problem. I mean, I was super fortunate. Here I am. You know, I've always said I've been very fortunate in my life to have been blessed when I have been employed to make money. So a lack of an education has never held me back from being able to bring in a decent income. So again, answer to a problem, not my prayer, because again, the Dallas Morning News, y'all, was located from me at best an hour away. So I lived at the time in McKinney, Texas. My commute at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to go on that interview was an hour. So what that looked like for me as a mama, it wasn't comfortable. Excuse me, hang on just a second. Okay, talking a lot, right? You would think at this point my voice would get used to it. It just doesn't. So for me as a mom, that just didn't seem comfortable because I was going to miss out on taking Sadie to school and picking her up. Those are just the basics. So like literally the routine, the monotony of taking her every day, all of a sudden became a luxury. You know, those things that we kind of grumble about, all of a sudden became a luxury. And then not to mention I was going to miss out on the parties and the volunteering and you know, selfishly the mom lunches and, you know, just being able to have my community. So why I didn't take the job, right? I mean, that still remains the mystery. Why didn't I take it in the interim? I just didn't. It didn't feel right. I, again, felt like there was something better out there. I didn't know, again, at this time what it was, because I still don't know that Plexus is a, you know, a business, is an opportunity to make money. And here's the thing, I had to stop my products too. So I'm not feeling as great as I had been being, you know, on the supplements. And keep in mind, I shared with you guys, I was working out, I was eating right. So I know from being a person who is what I consider majoritively healthy, how important these supplements are in our day-to-day lives. I have zero doubt. And I don't care what, you know, you can always find a stat to combat a positive stat, you can find a negative stat, but you know, Helen McFadden coined the phrase, I know what I know, what I know. I know what I know, what I know, how I feel on these products. And so I was missing those greatly. Didn't take the job. I continued to interview, but I continued to also be on Facebook at night. It was kind of my escape from reality, my escape from what was going on in my own life. And I happened upon Celeste's post of what she was able to do with her first month's salary with Plexus. And at the time it was simply, I believe it was that she was able to cover both of her kids' private school tuition for that month. And a light bulb went off in my head, and it was a light bulb of, wait a minute, what? Confusion, and I got to give this girl a call and figure out exactly what's going on. You know, am I reading this right? So, you know, to share a little bit about me, I tend to be pretty private, and it's just who I am. I'm an open book, and yet when it comes to the challenges of life, I've always just picked myself up by the bootstraps and kept that piece of my life really private. And so it was embarrassing, really, to call this person that, you know, I ran in the same social circle with, but wasn't really deep friends with. We were friend acquaintances, right? We'd go out in the same groups, we'd socialize that way, but, you know, not peeling back the layers of friendship. So I say that night, you know, April 21st is the night that Celeste and I became true friends, because I had to peel back many layers and expose kind of the ugly that was going on in my life. Because for me, I needed to know all about Plexus. I needed to know what it was, what she was doing, and was it actually legitimate? And this is the power of sharing, because she literally validated this business to me as a gold ambassador. Keep in mind, this wasn't Celeste, Double Diamond Celeste. This wasn't Celeste, the Celeste that you've come to know. This is Celeste, MCA mom, gold ambassador. And at this point, I think many of you know what that means. And so she greatly validated this business to me, that I could make this everything I wanted it to be. At the time, I didn't know what that looked like to be a diamond. And quite frankly, I don't think Celeste did either, really. We just knew what she was doing at that time. And so I took, you know, like any, I think, person of a reasonable mindset would do in that position, I just took a night or two to just absorb everything that she said. And, you know, because I reasoned with myself and said, if you do this, you've got to do it all. You've got to go all in, which has become the name of my team. You've got to do this wholeheartedly. You've got to be in alignment with what you're doing. You've got to go for it. And so on April 23rd, 2013, I decided to do just that. I decided to go for it, make this my full-time business. And that evening, April 23rd, I made my first Plexus post. And really, I was in business on purpose, but people were interested. They wanted to know what I was talking about and tell me more about this product. And I simply just shared my experience with Plexus. And I shared and I shared and I shared, and I reached out to people. And it wasn't, you know, I tell people all the time, although I used Facebook as my tool to grow my business, it wasn't like I was the Pied Piper of Facebook and all these people just came out of the, you know, wires and technology and said, tell me more about Plexus. There was effort, there was intentionality of reaching out to people and saying, hey, have you seen what I'm doing? And let me tell you more about it, and let me get in front of you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that after I finish my journey with Plexus. But that is a crucial piece of why I've had the success that I've had. because I didn't simply, I went all in. I mean, and at the end of the day, if I had to wrap up my journey in, 2 words, that would be it: all in. All in, even when I didn't want to be all in. So April 23rd, I signed up for Plexus, and my journey went fast because 1 year later, I'm attending my first convention. I did not attend the convention in, June of 2013, simply because I didn't want to leave my daughter. I mean, we had gone through such a life change. I just didn't see it as wise. And so, but what I will also tell you is that I didn't let that hold me back from having success with this company. I didn't say, well, because I didn't go to a major corporate team building, pour into you event, I still found my way. And keep in mind, this was at a time where there weren't nearly as many training opportunities. I don't even know if Zoom existed. Did it? Zoom didn't exist. So we didn't have even this technology available to us of a training format. We didn't have nearly the amount of videos out there on YouTube, but we found our way. We did it, and we locked arms and we did it together. Sideline relationships, downline relationships, upline relationships. We just made it happen. And so I always say, where there's a will, there's a way, and everything else is just excuses. And so, I promise you today, if to be anything, it's number 1, transparent. I've learned that there is truth in being that, sharing the ugly. That's where you connect with people. And then number 2, just simply telling you the truth. And some of the things may be bold and maybe just in your face, but it's the truth. And I know if you're on this call or if you're watching this as a playback, you want more out of life. And so, I'm happy to tell you, and it's with huge blessing, that a year later, I attended my first convention as a diamond. And where I'd love to tie this story and wrap it up in a neat bow is to tell you that year I earned a suite with our company. And that suite, out of all the places it could have been in the Omni, or it was the Omni Hotel, right? Okay. In the Omni Hotel, it was overlooking that job that offered me that 6-figure a year salary. So that was a moment where this whole thing tied together. Now I'm also here to share with you that, my story is like a Cinderella story with Plexus. Through relationships and through just bonding with, your girlfriends, I met my now husband, and we celebrated our 2-year wedding anniversary in January. And the story ends beautifully for Sadie as well, because my husband, Steve, adopted Sadie a year ago in December. So, to say that Plexus has been a blessing, y'all, it's been more than that for us. It's been life-changing, not only for health, not only for financial, but also for the happily ever after as well. So that's my story in a nutshell with Plexus. I tell people all the time, go for it. I mean, do this. This is when we say this is an opportunity of a lifetime, it absolutely is an opportunity of a lifetime. I attended my first Plexus corporate event it was an opportunity of lifetime. It was in late summer in 2013. And even at the time, I think I went as a almost Ruby ambassador. I still didn't get it was an opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, I thought, why are we saying it's an opportunity of a lifetime? It seems so hokey. But now I'm so behind that statement. And I will tell people every single day, because of my story, because this little mom in, nowhere McKinney, Texas, was able to change her story, was able to not be a victim of her circumstance because of this amazing opportunity. I'm here to share with it. It can be that for you, and I believe even more. So let's talk about how do we do that? How do we make this your opportunity of a lifetime? I've written down some notes, and I'm here to share with you guys. I want this to be interactive. So if you get to a point where you're just like, stop, I need to know more, please, I invite you to do that. I feel like I'm a better speaker, and I'm looking at time, when we interchange, when we interact, so don't hesitate to interrupt me. But let's talk about how we make this your opportunity of a lifetime. So number 1, and I'm not going to start I'm going to share some basics. So let me tell you, there are going to be some things you hear today. But if anything, I'm going to drill down into those basics for you, because I think, for example, I'm going to tell you, your why is huge. And we've said, if your why doesn't wake you up in the morning and get you motivated, then it's not strong enough. But let me give you a tool to drill down into maybe discovering that why, because I think that's easy for us to say, okay, figure out your why, and that needs to wake you up, and it needs to be bold, and it needs to be strong, but how do we get there? So one of the ways I coached my team on how to get there is to think of 3 people outside of yourself that need you to be successful at this, and why they need you to be successful. Because I think a lot of times what we do is when we make it my why, all of a sudden you don't want to be selfish. You don't want to make it about yourself, because most of us on this call, I'm looking around, and I'm not going to flip the page to see who else, but most of us are women on this call. So most of us get stuck in being about everybody else and not ourselves. So think about the 3 people in your life that need you to be successful and why they need you to be successful. So that's number 1. Number 2, you've got to stay in activity. And I've written down some notes on this, so pardon me while I look down, because I really prayed about what I wanted to speak to you guys about, and I have been kind of fine-tuning this over the last couple of days. But number 1, we find time for whatever we see as important. And I shared this with you earlier. You know, I said I jumped all in and everything else was just an excuse. I'm going to also back that statement up with everything else is just an excuse. Yeah, but I'm a busy mom, or yeah, my parents are ill, or yes, but I work full time. I mean, how many excuses can we get? You know, life gets in the way. God, y'all, I built my business, and I'm going to be super transparent here, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper than maybe I even intended to. I built this business not only when I was going through a divorce. My ex-husband, you guys, is mentally ill. He has bipolar disorder. So we've got that element there, right? In that time frame, he also tried to commit suicide. So I get excuses. I get life. I get the burden of things that can totally weigh you down. But I didn't let that stand in my way. I kept pressing forward, because it was very important that I did not become a victim of this circumstance. I did not want to be that story where I was at mama working 3 and 4 jobs to make ends meet, that my daughter didn't know who I was, and who knew what she would get into because her mom couldn't be there. So that's that statement. Additionally on that, 5-3-1, y'all have heard that formula, and if you haven't, get with your upline. I'm simply here to share with you that's not enough. It's a great starting point. It's a great get your feet wet. It's a great get you in it, but it is simply not enough if you have any desire to make this your true full-time job, to make this anything beyond fun money. You've got to get outside of 5-3-1. Okay, I'm here to share with you, and Ariele and Beth, I just need you to back me up on this one. Can you think of any jewel, and even speak of your own journey, that only did 5-3-1? I mean, if they're out there, I'm super impressed, because that's a special person. I can't even tell you how many people I reached out to every day, because quite frankly, the number was limitless. I literally worked the nooks and crannies of my life, because keep in mind, I'm still full-time mama. That was always job number 1 for me. But I made sacrifices. I got up an hour earlier. When she went to bed, I turned off the TV and I worked my business. You know, there were times that I said, you know, not today, we can't go to the park because a mommy's got her follow-ups to do. I made these sacrifices, and for me, they were upfront. I made those sacrifices so I could have these years of time freedom. But please don't ever misunderstand your jewel uplines. There were sacrifices made along the way. So most people will tell you, 80% of people will tell you how much they want it, and about 20% of people will actually do it. So that statistic is important for you, because what that tells me is for every 10 people I talk to, 8 are going to be no's, and maybe two, if I'm lucky, are going to be yeses. And so you've got to do the math there. So that's telling you how many people you need to be talking to. And I remember going to one of my very first Plexus events, a leaders retreat, 2013, Amelia Island, and Eric Warre was there speaking, and he said, you will have about 20% of the people stick with you. So if you have 20 people, you know, join you down the road, only 2 of them will stick with you. And I thought, no way, because keep in mind, I'm in the height of my momentum. I have white lines at this point. I have people that have gone, I don't know if we still have white lines, but we have inactives, right? And I really didn't start to feel the burden of those yet. I seriously thought there's no way that of all these people that have joined me, that percentage will be there. I'm here to share with you, that's an absolute truth statistic. So, but the beauty in that is that you only just need this core people that will stick with you that can explode your business. So yes, you have to talk to a lot of people. Yes, you're going to get a lot of no's. But the beauty and I think the amazingness of this is that you can build this business with just this small core of people around you. You've just got to find that quality core, though, right? And that's the challenge there. Okay, I probably need my readers at this point, y'all. 44 is no joke. I thought that it was a literal joke when my friends that were older than me were starting to wear readers. Y'all, the pain is really there, and so I'm stubborn. So I'm going to put my notes kind of here up on my computer, and I'm seriously going to, do the whole weird look thing. None of what we do is hard, okay? It's that slight edge difference. It's making those minor tweaks, because what I'm here to share with you guys, what you're doing today is probably just amazing and spot on. You just need to tweak it a little bit. And so that's my challenge for you, is to find out where you need to tweak your business. Your solution to any problem that you're having in your business is activity. Get in activity. That's where the momentum is. And let's see, I think that's everything that I wanted to tell you. It's just being consistent. That's the challenge there. And so, that's where I'm going to, number one, challenge you is find the tweaks that you need to make in your business. Is it that you need to stretch yourself and carve out another hour of time? And when you carve out that hour, do me a favor, don't scroll Facebook. Seriously, lock down, make your calls. I used to say I worked 5 until faint, and that was an exaggeration because Sadie didn't go to bed at 5 o'clock. But when Sadie went to bed, I just made it my mission to keep following up, keep sending out messages, keep doing what I did that I knew was going to grow this business. And that is, number one, share my product. Number two, share my business all day long. Okay, those two things are not hard. It's just the hard part is staying consistent and doing it, just like anything else in life, right? Really, when you think about it, it's not super hard to do 100 jumping jacks. You got to condition yourself. Maybe, okay, it's not super hard to do 10 jumping jacks, okay? It's just staying consistent. Are you going to do that every day? Are you going to build on those 10 jumping jacks every single day? It's, it's about empowering yourself and feeling good. I see a couple messages and I want to make sure I'm not ignoring anyone. No, I'm not. Okay. So your number 3 is to tell your story. So, and I just want to recap. Number 1 is your why. Number 2, stay in activity. Number 3, tell your story. You've got to build. What we say is build your brand, and that's you. And you got to drill down and figure out who you are in this. And don't try to be somebody else. Don't, take everything that you maybe love about your mentors, but make it you. I'm a mama. That's my story. That's my brand. I build my life around it. And I'm going to share with you, I've had most success when I simply just share my life. Nobody wants to be sold to. Everybody wants to hear a story. So it's very, like today I posted something about Sadie's mom is still very much on the go. She has blood sugar balance. She has, inflammation control, and gut health equals a healthier me. I didn't mention Plexus. I didn't mention, a product necessarily. Now I'm here to share with you. I still do those things because for me, I am a face of Plexus, and I'm proud of that. But I also want to be branded as a solution to feeling better. I'm a mom that's on a mission for health and happiness. That's what I do. And so 80% of what I do is about my family. It's about my life. It's not to say that you're not going to see a pink drink in the, okay, well, this is not pink yet, but a pink drink in the background, because that is hugely a part of our lives. I have literally told people Plexus is like a person in my family. That is how passionate I am about these products. And that, oddly, this is where I get emotional, right? Because now this business has become my baby. This business has become a part of our family. And so to not be passionate about this does it a huge disservice. So go back to the day that you tried Plexus and how you felt. and tell your story about that. Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm super passionate about what we do, you guys. It's changed everything about my four walls. It's changed everything about who I am outside of these four walls. So when you tell your story, this is what it does. It builds trust, it builds relationships, and I encourage you to be positive. I can't tell you how many times, and I've seen this and seen this out of, you know, people that we shouldn't be seeing it out of, quite frankly. All of a sudden it goes negative. All of a sudden there's this post about, when people show you who they are, believe them. Okay, do y'all see a conflict in health and happiness and then throwing shade, for lack of a better word? That's my Real Housewives term, by the way. But, when you throw that out there, that gets you out of alignment. And I'm if y'all have heard Carrie Wilkerson speak, that is one of her, and for those of you that are going to convention, by the way, get yourself to convention, you're going to hear her speak, but that is one of her big points, is being in alignment. How are you representing health and happiness? If you pop onto Facebook and say, oh my gosh, I feel so terrible, I'm going back to bed, these allergies are kicking my butt, I hate life, we can go down that spiral of craziness, right? And we need not to do that. So, I always say, be positive. Before you post it, think about your message. What are you putting out there? Again, I'm not asking you to not be real. I'm just asking you to think about the message that you're putting out there. Make it personal, make it informative and educational, and then also make your post, when I say it, I'm referring to posting, motivational and inspiring. Those are the umbrellas that I try to stick under when I'm making a post. And so I hope that helps you as you discover who you are and branding yourself. So number 4, getting in front of people and setting appointments. This is huge. I cannot think of a person that I signed onto my team that I didn't meet with, at least via the phone, many face-to-face. Because again, how much more impactful is this Zoom to you guys, being able to see my face, see my, what animation I can have with the Botox I have injected in my face. But, literally, for you to see how passionate I am. If I went away and just showed you my picture, you wouldn't feel it as much. And then literally, but you'd feel it some. We're still at least voice to voice, right? But then if I'm just writing you, all of a sudden it gets really diluted. So I encourage you as much as possible to get in appointments. So how do we do that, right? So I told you I was going to drill down. I wasn't just going to tell you to set an appointment. I'm going to show you how to do it. But so because I'm sometimes verbally challenged and definitely directionally challenged, I'm just going to hold this up and I hope y'all can see. Oh, I don't know if you can with my light. See those 4 circles right there? I want you, if you're taking notes, I want you to write circles like that. So where they're side by side and up and down from each other. So basically the circles make a square, right? So if you have a piece of paper, do that. If you don't, listen to this on the playback and go and take these notes down, because I think that this is going to help you out so much when you're making an appointment. Because I personally feel like if you want to change your life, you yourself have to change. You've never push anyone to the products or the business, but you got to push them to look. Okay. So in the first circle, what I want you to write is show, slash, like just that little, I don't know what this symbol is, but like a slash, share. Show / share. That's hard to say. And I feel like I need to do an enunciation exercise here. So, and it doesn't really matter which circle these go in, by the way, but I just did mine horizontal from that one. The next one, write only or just, and then write in time. Like how long do you think it would take you to present Plexus to somebody? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 15 minutes, 20 minutes? And then in the next circle, I want you to write may or may not. And then in the last circle, I want you to write number 2, choices. So now this is your formula for setting an appointment. And you can start, and the cool thing about this is you can start with any of these circles. And so how you might speak to somebody, and again, depending on who that person is, that's going to look different every single time, because you're going to speak differently to your best friend than the neighbor you're just establishing a relationship with, correct? So, I'll just give you an example of what that conversation might look like. You can call up your friend and say, hey, Beth, I just want to show you what I've been doing. It will probably only take us about 15 minutes. Do you have time on Thursday, say either at lunch or maybe Wednesday for coffee? This may or may not be for you. So you see, I could start it with this, hey Ariele, this may or may not be for you. I just need about 15 minutes of your time. Do you have any time on Wednesday morning or even Friday afternoon? I want to share with you what I've been doing. Easy breezy, right? And you've got the wording right there. Practice it. Make it comfortable for you. But I guarantee you, when you use this formula, very rarely will you not get your appointment, because you've ended it, or you've started it, or you've middle blocked it with two choices. Can you meet me on Thursday? Can you meet me on Friday? Can you meet me for lunch? Can you meet me for coffee? And you've said, and you've given them that out, and I love this every single time. This may or may not be for you. So then there's no pressure. So again, we're not pressuring somebody to join you, to take your products. We're just asking them to take a look and be bold, be relentless about getting that appointment. I think that is huge, because the worst thing that happens is they say no to you. And I've always said that no is not about you. It's about them. They just may not know enough. I always say you don't know, N-O, what you don't know, K-N-O-W. And if you don't ask, the answer's always going to be no, right? So let's move into the fifth. I have 6 things for you, and I hope we have time for it if y'all are into it. So my fifth one for you is goal setting. I am a firm believer that you cannot be serious about this business and not write down your goals. It's just, to say, and y'all know, I hope by this time I love the Lord. It is just simply not enough to say, I'm going to let God handle it. It's just in God's timing. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And see, I was raised with a mama that told me, God helps those that help themselves. So, we've always been you get your boots on, you pick them up, and you get out there and you fix it. Because God will help you, but he helps those that, show initiative and show effort. So, okay, goal setting. Let's talk about what that looks like. First and foremost, and again, truth, hope is not a strategy. We got to get real. We got to get to writing down what we want out of life. So I'm going to tell you, you've got to break your goals out into 4 categories. The first one being relationship. What are your relationship goals? This business is so based on that, because what I know about this business is all day long, it's easy to quit an opportunity all day long. Not easy to quit a relationship. So you've got to get good at your relationship building skills. You've got to have goals for your relationships, your personal, your within your 4 walls, and those that are without of your 4 walls. Number 2, your business. And again, these aren't in any order. So relationship, business goals, wealth goals, and health goals. And you put those in, I'm just giving them to you. That is not that's not the order necessarily that I would put them in. And I am a huge believer and supporter of dream boards. I think you've got to have them. I don't necessarily think they have to be a picture dream board. My dream board is simply Post-it notes that sit in my office. It's not fancy. I've done the ones where you do them on your little phone and you do pic collage, and you put just something there that's reminding you of what you're going for. I keep a picture of my daughter, her most recent school picture, at my desk, because at the end of the day, I continue to be motivated to be an example for her. A person who goes for it, who's all in all areas of my life. And in a world that scales on a 1 to 10, or you 1 to 10, I say you got to strive to be a 12 every single day. Was I a 12? And I'm here to tell you, not every day am I a 12, but that's what I strive to be. And so each day, if you stay in that consistency, imagine a tree, and imagine you have an axe, and your job is to get that tree down. Now, are you going to necessarily get that tree down in one swing? No. But if you take 5 swings a day at that tree, I guarantee you that tree has no other choice but then to come down. And so you've got to stay in activity. You've got to stay consistent. You've got to be that person who's willing to follow up, even when you think that they're not listening to you or that it's gone cricket silent. You've got to be bold. You've got to be willing to put yourself out there. So my last one for you is personal growth. So this business is all about personal growth and development. You've heard it said, right? This is here comes your cliche statement. It's growth with a paycheck, right? It's personal development with a paycheck. Now, how do you do that though? What does that mean, and what should that look like for you every day? Again, another, Rayne motivational quote is it's up to me. And so what I need to do every day is to stay into some type of personal development. And how I have done that is I commit to reading a minimum of 10 pages a day in my book, whatever book I'm reading. Right now I'm reading The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. People ask me that often. What book are you reading right now? I just wrapped up a book, and I don't like to say the title because it has a curse word in it. And by nature, I'm not a cursor. But it's called How to Be a Bad A, right? And so Jen Cicero, I believe, is who that book is by. It's a great personal growth book, y'all. It applies to everyday life, but what I absolutely adored about that book is you can take every little point she's talking about and apply it right back to our network marketing business. So read 10 pages a day. I guarantee you, if you get in that habit, you're probably reading more than 10 pages a day. In your car, get the audio on, find a YouTube. What's beautiful about the day and age we live in is that we are all about technology. Everything's connected. You can get it on your phone and play it through your sound system for most of us, or you can at least just put it on your speaker phone. Get off of, terrestrial radio, get off of satellite radio, and get into something that's going to develop you. Additionally, we've got obviously so many YouTube videos out there. Now we've got industry experts that are infiltrating our feeds. There's no excuse not to personally develop. And then I need you to start running with winners, because who you hang out with is who you are, right? That's the message I send to my daughter every single day is, you don't want to be that kid that's made a wrong choice in friends. And especially as we get older and you dictate more who your friends are, especially as she's starting next year, she'll enter middle school. She's going to have more of a choice who she hangs out with. And, we've talked about some people that may not be the best influence for her. And I've said, you don't want it to be where, this group of moms aren't going to let you hang out with their kiddo because you've made a choice to hang out with this one girl because she may not have the best reputation. So to kind of wrap that one up, I say it's important to read, listen, watch, and then run, because that's who you're hanging out with. So that is my training for you today. I hope I didn't wear you out with all the information and all the phrases, but I certainly appreciate your time. What I know is that this opportunity of network marketing allows you to be a better person. It allows you to be a better spouse, a better parent, a better friend. It allows you to do more, be more, have more, and to just, whomever you are today, you're able to enhance that through this beautiful opportunity. And so I believe in you. If nobody has ever told you that, I want you to know the fact that you are on this call today tells me that you're serious, that you're motivated, that you want to do this. And so I'm simply here to share with you that if this mama, this broken mama who has had life dealt to her in a major way can make a beautiful thing out of, crazy situation, that I know you can too. And so I'm rooting for you and I'm here for you and I'm cheering you on along the way. And thank you for sharing your time with me today. And we can open it up for questions if you guys have time for that.
Hey, Rayne, can you do me a favor? Do you mind your circle demonstration written down? Do you mind taking a picture of it for me so I can post it on our team page so everybody can make sure they got the right parts, and maybe write down a sentence of how you use each circle? Do you mind doing that for me? You can just text it to me if you can, and I can put it on the page.
Yep, I will do that right now. I can't guarantee you this is the most quality picture, but let me, you tell me, and if I need to redo it in any way, I'm going to do it right now.
If my Zoom completely just froze up, what did you say?
Oh, no worries. I said I'm texting you the picture right now.
Awesome.
And
Thank
I'm
you
gonna send it to Ariele too. And then and if y'all need it changed in any way, let me know, because I literally am taking it from my notes that I have. It's not pretty.
No, that's awesome. Thank you.
You know,
People will
again,
love to
just
see
it's just real, right? So at the end of the day, no, I'm not an artist and I don't have the best of handwriting, but it's just what it is.
You're good. You're good. So, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us. I know everybody has benefited tremendously. And I know we'll have lots on the playback too. You never know. I think people are still having spring break in different parts of the country. So the past 2 weeks have been kind of hit or miss on our morning calls, but thank you so much.
This time, you're welcome. And this time of the day, y'all, I get it. I'm not offended by it at all. We do our team calls as well. And, you know, sometimes the attendance is amazing and other times it's not. And so, but hey, here's the thing. 35 of you are here and I'm grateful that you chose to share, you know, this time. And we've got playback as well. So I hope those of you that watch it on playback, you know, benefited from it. At the end of the day, you know, if you're taking 45, 50 minutes out of your day, I hope it's, you know, valuable and that we shared it well.
You know, I think it's so fun to me is to see, like, you know, we talk about the personal growth and most times when we're listening to a Diamond Talk, that everybody talks about personal growth, and to see, like, just, you know, even us three, because we did know each other before Plexus, like the personal growth that we've all had and how our lives have just changed and how not our personalities have changed, but how we've grown personally. Does that make sense? Has been so fun to see. It's been a super fun 4 years for sure.
Oh, it's, you know, it's been a ride of a lifetime, you know, I mean, it's, you know, and you learn things along the way. And, you know, I mean, and I want to share with you guys, because I think it's super important to be transparent. You learn maybe even some tough lessons along the way, right? You learn about people, but here's the beauty of it is that you learn about people, you know, and I mean, and so there's good and bad in everything. But if I had to do it all over again, knowing exactly how everything would, you know, good, bad, ugly, I do it all over again, just the same way.
Well, and the other thing I want to touch on is, you know, so many people say, oh, everybody's already selling Plexus, we can't do this. Okay, guys, so the school that we all came from, there was maybe 550 kids at that school at the time?
If that.
Yeah, maybe, right? Pre-K through 12th grade. And so the three of us are diamonds. Celeste is a diamond. Roz Payne is a diamond. Is there another diamond?
Sunday Anderson's now there, although she wasn't at the time.
She wasn't there when I was there. Laura Cloud's a sapphire. How many? And we have a handful of emeralds. Haley Neville,
Rebecca
Rogers. There's a handful. So y'all, 550 people, right? Our little school. We all did life together. Like, we did life together. There was many weekends. I mean, probably more weekends than not that I was with these girls, like with them. We had the same friends. And out of that came that many jewels out of a school of 550.
Yeah. So, again, you know, I'm not to interrupt you, Beth, I'm so sorry, but like, again, remember, lean back on that statement, y'all. It's truth serum. And sometimes it stings because sometimes the truth just isn't what we necessarily want to hear. Everything else is just an excuse. Oh, everybody's selling Plexus. Okay, so riddle me this. How's Mary Kay still in business? How's Avon still in business? I'm going to say it, Advocare. How are they still in business? You know, but so literally, so what is this about? You know, and so I'm going to just challenge you, because I love you, to drill down into that. Why is that your excuse? Is that the truth? Or, you know, is that some more about you? Because I guarantee you, and this is one of the lessons I've learned, most of the time what people are saying, positive or negative, you know, isn't really about you, it's about them. And so so when I'm saying something, I'll put it back on myself. If I'm saying something that's negative, I'm finding fault in somebody, that's really more about me than it is about them. It's a fear that I have about something. So I've got to peel back some layers and I've got to go figure that one out. So I stop that behavior. And so that's my charge for you, is stop that behavior. Stop allowing your excuse to get in the way of you fulfilling the life you've always wanted. Because the reality is, most people rather be stuck because they already know that than to get unstuck.
because it's easy. It's not scary. It's in their comfort zone, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing that in going with that, just saying that, like I watched them take this drink for months. And y'all, like Rayne said, she was like, I saw Ariele and Celeste take it and they didn't die. Like I thought they were crazy. Like something was going to happen to them. And so it was not until Celeste literally called me. She picked up the phone and called me and said, do this with me. I watched them for months, watched them. I had no interest whatsoever, like none. She picked up the phone and called me and asked me, like with her mouth, not a text, not a message, with her mouth, she asked me to do it with her. These were my friends. Celeste and I did life together before Plexus. It wasn't like so let that be a lesson too.
Yeah.
We all watch. If somebody says no at first, it's okay. That doesn't mean they're going to say no forever. And calling people does a whole lot for sure.
Well, and there's power. There's complete power in the invitation. Let's do this together. I mean, I can't tell you how many times just that the simple words of let's, just the one word, and you put the words behind it. But there's fear in being left alone in this, and so when you add that simple word of let's, it's real impactful for people.
Yes. All right, guys. Rayne, that's awesome. I'm so excited. Thank you so, so, so much for spending time with us. And
Absolutely.
we will get the recording to you and on our team pages as soon as I can get it uploaded. Sometimes that's 5 minutes and sometimes that's 5 hours, but it'll be sometime today. So you never know what's going to happen out here. But anyways, y'all have a great day. Thanks for being on.
Bye.